Hello YouTube, this is Gorilla Radio Moscow here again with another beer review. Now I want to go back to the United States for this one. This is the Doggie style classic pale ale which comes to you from the Flying Dog Brewery. I've heard very good things about this brewery from my American friends, so I'm quite interested to see what this one's like. Like many breweries though, it actually has a very kind of funny and random story behind how they came up with the name. Now in 1983 the current owner, George Stranahan, who incidentally is an astrophysicist and a founder of the Aspen Centre for Physics, being a chemist I'll need to go and read his work now of course, but he and 12 others were on an expedition to climb K2, or the Savage Mountain as it's sometimes known, from Rawalpindi in Pakistan. This is just near Islamabad in the north of the country, but this is the second highest mountain in the world and it's also the most deadly. For every 4 people who have reached the top of this mountain, there's been 1 killed in the process apparently. But the group that he was in travelled 8,000 miles from Woody Creek in Colorado, and during this trip the group crossed the Baltoro Glacier and the Braldu Gorge, which have been described by Reinhold Meissner, who is one of the world's greatest mountain climbers, as being the most dangerous thing he'd done in his life. But of course George Stranahan, being a crazy scientist, probably said that the big disaster that they encountered on this trip was that on day 17 out of 35 they ran out of booze. But upon returning to the hotel they got stuck into the Pakistani selection of alcohol, and while doing this they caught sight of a really beautiful painting of a dog that had apparently, quotes, left the ground. But the weirdness of this picture and the words flying dog stuck with George Stranahan, and this is the foundation of the name of the brewery itself. And well, whether he was drunk off some of the alcohol in the Muslim countries that you can get, there's some really random stuff you can get over there. Whether he was drunk on that and thought the dog was floating, who knows? It's a little bit of, I think it's a little bit of a mystery, but it's a cool name for the brewery and it's got a cool story behind it nonetheless. But anyway, in 1990 George Stranahan founded the Flying Dog Brew Pub in Aspen, Colorado, and this was the first brewery in Aspen itself for over 100 years, and it was also incidentally one of the first brew pubs in the Rocky Mountain region in the United States. But they moved to a fully fledged brewery in 1994, which he started with his long-term friend Richard McIntyre, who's a rancher in Colorado. Now in 2006 Flying Dog acquired the Wild Goose brand when they purchased the Frederick Brewing Company in Frederick, Maryland. Now after they did this, the production in Denver ceased in 2008 and they moved all their brewing to the Maryland site. However, the administrative side of the business remained in operation in Denver. Now this brewery in Maryland has the capacity to brew over 100,000 barrels of beer a year. But in 2010, the Logan Shaw Company bought the rights to the Wild Goose brand from Flying Dog, and so you'll see these beers again alongside Logan Shaw's own craft beers, incidentally, if you want to try those. But the other beers that this brewery produces, I'll just read them out for you. It's they do the Snake Dog IPA, which is an India Pale Ale, the Road Dog Scottish Porter, which is described as a Scottish Ale, Tire Bite Golden Ale, which is obviously a golden ale, Old Scratch Lager Amber Lager, which is supposed to be a steam beer, one that's called In Heat, which is a Hefeweizen or a Weiss beer as you might know it, Gonzo Imperial Porter, which is obviously an Imperial Porter, there's Horn Dog Barley Wine Style, which is described as an English barley wine, and Double Dog Pale Ale, which is obviously a pale ale. Now they also do some seasonals, which is Guard Dog, which is a Bier de Gar, a Belgian style beer, Woody White Creek, which is a Belgian style white beer, Dogtoberfest, which is a Marzen beer, and Canine Cruiser, which is described as an American strong ale. Now, just to get moving on to the tasting and stuff of this beer, as you'll notice, one thing with Flying Dog is that they have quite a kind of characteristic style of artwork on their stuff. Now, these artworks on these bottles are designed by cartoonist Ralph Steadman, who's best known as being the illustrator for the Hunter S. Thompson books. Now, he's a very famous American author and journalist. He wrote books and things like on the American Dream. I'm not sure kind of like how prominent he is in America, whether he's considered like a sort of cult author or anything. I've never actually read any of his books, so I'll maybe need to have a little look into that anyway. But for those of you interested in bottle caps, as you can see, I'm not sure how well the camera focuses on these right enough. You can see it just has the sort of flying dog wings, as you'll see, sort of similar to the bottle there. But anyway, let's get this guy out and have a little taste of him. Quite interested to see what this one's like. Just preserve my bottle cap, of course, it's bubbling up. But this is a 5.5% pale ale style beer. I'm quite interested for this one, I really am. Let's get them out and tasted. As you can see, it's actually looks like it's quite a nice amber colour. Let's just give this a bit more head to it and see how it does. Yeah, as you can see, it's a really kind of nice, rich amber colour. There's not too much. There's actually quite a few bubbles. I was going to say there's not very much. They've just kind of appeared. A lot of nice kind of bubbles in there, I would say. The head is quite foamy. There's some bigger bubbles in there as well. Let's just give this a little smell. Incidentally, as well, I forgot to say, this beer won the Best Pale Ale in America award in 1991 at the Great American Beer Festival. So obviously this one's going to be quite a good beer. But yeah, in terms of the smell, getting sweet malts first off. You can like some sort of caramelly malts, but there is the citrus is the thing that kind of sticks out most with this aroma, I would say. The kind of fruit, I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit off this actually, not too much I have to say, but maybe some floral hops in there as well. So yeah, caramel malts, kind of citra hops a little bit, and a little bit of grapefruit, maybe a little bit of floralness as well. But let's get this tasted. Oh, that's nice actually, yeah. It's quite, I'd say there's a good bit of breadiness to it actually. Yeah. There's a sort of caramel breadiness to it at the start. And you get the kind of, yeah, caramel breadiness to the start, a kind of fruitiness in the middle. The finish is maybe kind of slightly dry a little bit. Out of these two sort of flavours, out of the kind of fruitiness in the middle and the bready start, it's actually very, very well balanced. There's neither of them are too prominent in this beer. That just marks the sign of a good brewer, somebody who's able to mix the flavours really well and get them all out. So with a lot of beers you find that there's always really one prominent flavour, as I say, but like I say, starts off with the bready malts, you get the fruitiness in the middle. I'm getting a little bit of the grapefruit, not too much, mainly the kind of citrus, but there's a good balance between the kind of the citrus and the bready start to it. It's really nice. A little dry on the aftertaste, I have to say. In terms of the mouth, this has actually got quite a good bit of carbonation in it. You feel it on the tongue as you drink it. This one I would say is kind of mid-bodied. It is a little bit thicker. The carbonation I think is really, it actually makes it kind of quite zippy. But yes, there, I must have got an email there, sorry. But yeah, the carbonation makes it kind of quite zippy. It's sort of mid-bodied, and there's a nice blend, like I say, there's a really nice blend between the sweet and citrus hops in this one. It's a very, very well balanced flavour, I have to say. The sign of a good brewer. It's obviously, I mean, it won that award back in 1991 as being America's Best Pale Ale, and I can see why. It's a really, really nice beer. I'd be really interested to try some of their other stuff now. It's got good flavours to it. This brewery is obviously going to be a very good one, and like I say, my American friends who are into their American craft beer rate this particular brewery very highly. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I would definitely recommend that you give this beer a try, or anything from the Flying Dog Brewery as recommended by American friends, if you get the chance to. Please like, subscribe, comment, let me know your own experiences of this beer and suggest beers for me to review. Americans, if you're watching, American craft beers are always good to review as well, so please let me know about that. But thanks again for watching, and I will be back with another beer review soon. Cheers!